Hi, how you doing? I am the Ronin Pawn. Welcome to a Twitch shot. How you doing? Hello? Yeah, alright then. Welcome to a twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn live stream on twitch.tv/Ronin Pawn. Hello, Mage Lord Exilbirth and a guy called Pi. Hi, Pawn. How am I doing, says Mage Lord Exilbirth? Better than you are, I'd say. Nah. I'm fine. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, says Jasus. Hello, Jasus. Looking like Sith Lord Palpatine today. Am I? I might be able to, help with that image, that visage that you're talking about here. Just a few minor adjustments on my end, and, boom. By which I mean, boom. Boom. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Put some color into my cheeks, even if it's artificial. That's my natural tone right there. I do a lot of post-processing to give the simulation that I am human, pink-skinned, and well. Hey, Paul, I haven't been at the streams for a while. How's Whitney? Yeah, welcome back after a long hiatus, Pi. Welcome back. Oh, my God. So, how y'all doing? Yesterday, I was up at 7 a.m. Cool, getting my sleep schedule back on pace. Managed to keep myself awake until about midnight last night, and then, went to sleep at about midnight, and woke up at 4:30 a.m., so 4 hours later, probably. And I was up for 3 hours, just stayed in bed, stayed down, had a lot to think about, working on my Sudoku generator puzzle. So I just laid in bed and crunched some numbers, literally. And about 7 a.m., 8 maybe, I got back to sleep. And then, I've got like several alarms set for live stream. So first alarm is like, hey, you got a live stream today. And I think it goes off at like 1:30 in the PM in case I happen to be down and out and cold and blue. So that one goes off, and I go, yeah, okay, whatever, and I throw that one away. And then I got an alarm that I've named Live Stream Critical that goes off 45 minutes before the live stream that's like, hey, if you ain't up and at 'em, boy. And so that one went off. And I went, yeah, we can snooze. And about the 15 minutes, quarter of an hour to the live stream, realized that the lower half of my body was just not interested in moving as of yet. So, came into the Discord, announced, maybe not, it'll be delayed. I managed to get myself up and slowly start moving throughout the day, and moving toward the live stream. And then I go into Discord and try and tell people, okay, if things keep going, give me another 25 minutes about, and we'll be live streaming. And immediately, just like, what are we playing today, Pawn? Like, nothing's going on. Like, there ain't no reason why I'm, delayed by half an hour here. So today, we're going to talk about Sudoku Theorem. My Sudoku Theorem. And the power of your words. As maybe this will get classified as a Wednesday Zens Day, because it's a recurring difficulty within this community is so many of us seem to not recognize or know the impact of our words, or just give a shit, apparently, about what we say to other people and how what we say to other people impacts and affects and changes the nature of all of reality. I wanna have a little what do you call it? A little sort of a situation presented in a hypothetical kind of a manner, a metaphor, if you will. Most of us in this community wouldn't just walk up to a fella and stab him in the neck. Now, I don't want to say all of us, okay? I don't want to pigeonhole you in your life choices. Most of us wouldn't walk up to somebody and kick him in the nuts, stab him in the face. You know, most of us, not all of us. Again, you can do whatever you want on your weekends. Most of us wouldn't do that. However, well, there are a number of us who agree generally with the social premise of not kicking other people in the testicles randomly, especially people who we like and hang out with. It seems as though we do not all agree on the premise of not doing so verbally to one another, or apparently have not developed those social skills. So come with me, join me, the Ronin Pawn. I'm going to show you how it is that you can stop being such an asshole. Come on, from one asshole to another. I'll show you my techniques for being less of an asshole. Tier 5, depends on the fella, doesn't it, Pawns, as a secret to every point. Depends on, yeah, everybody stab people in the throat. I'm not saying it's not you. I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm saying... Pizza's nearly done, says a guy called Pie. Alright. That was in reference to neck stabbing, by the way. Oh, no, I get it. Stop talking to me, Pawns, as a guy called Pie. Hey! What are we gonna do, except for get in here and grab ourselves a job in American Truck Simulator out onto the freight market. We're in, where are we? We're in Redding today. Redding, California. Ooh, if we could go to the north and to the west of California, wouldn't that be lovely to discover some of these places I haven't been? For example, Eureka! Or Eureka. If you've watched that anime, Eureka 7 or something like that. Oh, I loved that anime. It was really weird and out there and went in a way that was like, huh? And I loved it for it. Doesn't look like they're gonna give me any, you know, trips to Eureka today. What about Winnemucca? If I can't go to Eureka, can I go to Winnemucca? I just like to go places that I haven't already been, you know? I like to see things that I haven't seen. Oakdale, Fresno, Huron, or Huron, however you want to pronounce it. I'm seeing precisely none of these goddamn destinations. If we go all the way to Arizona, we could get show low you can't hear us. It's my first time ever making that joke today. Carl is bad, and then... Carl is bad? Oh, Carl's bad. My brain actually turned Carl's bad into Carl is bad. Some of these jokes, they just happen. Some of them, most of them in fact, aren't even actually jokes. Alamogordo? I don't think I've ever been to, apparently I've been to Alamogordo. Carlsbad, though, is a place I haven't been, but it's all the way across the goddamn country. Let's go to Carlsbad, I guess. From one end of everything to the other, and then I only have to choose a job once in my life. It's beautiful. It's almost like going to college. Kind of a waste of your time. Where did Carlsbad go? I swear it was in here. Wasn't it? No, that was you were... Where did I see Carlsbad? If we're leaving from Redding, did I not click on Redding before? And that's why I was getting Carlsbad? LV... Ehrenberg? What the hell is an Ehrenberg? It's the wrong bird. Good. Because the air and... You see. No, how did I get Carlsbad? Where do you go? You go somewhere I've been before. I've never heard of Ehrenberg. We do get to go through Huron on the way. Let's go to Ehrenberg carrying ice cream. Oh, I could use some ice cream right now. When you're sick, having some ice cream. Ain't it just grand? And look, we're parked right in front of Voltsum Motors or something. I have a garage in Fresno, a pretty small place, not much there, says Jason. You've got a garage? Oh, well, aren't you fancy? Mister, I have a garage in California where the prices of living is Fresno's in California. Yes, it is. It's where the price of living is, and I'm just gonna show off to everybody that. Oh, they have wine. Hornbrook is nice. They have wine. Oh, good. Wine and ice cream. That's what I need. We'll pick up some wine as we're passing through some of these Californian towns, and then we'll just mix it with the ice cream. We'll have, you know, a nice Cabernet Superman, which was my favorite kind of ice cream back in the day. What's your favorite kind of ice cream, or what was it when you were a child and gave a crap? Now I'm just like, yeah, ice cream, put it in me. But back in the day, yeah, you used to have so many different ice creams in your life. Before ice cream cost like $5 per ounce or whatever it is now. Yeah, I had a favorite. It was either Superman or it was Blue Moon. Blue Moon. Can I just go? I'm just gonna go. And you're gonna just get the hell out of my way, aren't you? What was your favorite kind of coffee fudge ice cream, says Jesus. Jesus. Talk about decadent. Mine are just made up names to express the fact that the flavors are basically just colors. Blue Moon. Yours actually have stuff in them? Coffee and fudge? Yeah, you do have money, don't you? Mine was bubblegum, says Zig Pony. Bubblegum, huh? You're weird. Get the hell out of here. I want to talk about the power of words. Direct hire? No, not yet, please. Where am I turning? Apparently we're picking it up at Wahlberg's. It's Walbert. On. Well, alright. We'll go into Ernie's gay lover's store over here, and we'll see what they want from us. Where am I going to pick it up? Probably in that direction, Pawn. So swing your wheel over there, hit the enter button, and grab yourself a load of ice cream. Where's the ice cream? Where is it? Because I forget where I was going. It's that one. Reading. Ice cream. Get it. I think my favorite growing up was cookie dough, says Major. Oh, cookie dough was good and decadent, wasn't it? Yeah, but cookie dough was too much for me. Too much. I just liked those good, nondescript flavors. Blue Moon. What the hell was the flavor of Blue Moon? You know? Because it sure the hell wasn't like blueberry or anything like that. Blueberries are, you know, they got a tartness to them. There wasn't any tartness to that. It was pure blue food coloring and sugar. And Superman, I don't even remember what the hell it was. I just remember, maybe because I was a kid, I just liked the name. Ooh, Superman. That's one way to park it up, isn't it? Just slam right into it. These days, can't say there's a favorite. Me neither. What happened to us and our favorite ice creams? For me, it's just that I stopped eating ice cream so much. And then also that, like, I feel like they're just not there. You go into the supermarket and all the ice creams are designed for adults, you know? With their Sauvignon red ice cream and their... Isn't it true, though? Aren't all the ice creams, like, don't they look like they're more designed for adults now? They used to be designed for kids with names like Superman and Blue Moon and, oh, crap, I got a double-decker. Look back there. It's two of them. I'm curious, it's not a double-decker, you know, but I got two boxes on different axles. That's not good. You gotta be careful with parking these sons of bitches. When did ice cream turn into for adults, you know? Now it's like butterscotch, pecan, and stuff like that. And that was always there, but there was a whole bunch that was for kids. And now it just seems like they're trying to, you know, so they're marketing ice cream more successfully to, you know, I guess, pregnant women who need some comfort food or so. I don't know who they're marketing it to, but whatever happened to, you know, He-Man ice cream and, fidget spinner delight. You know, those were my favorite brands. I've nailed on to something here. There's a joke somewhere in there. If I keep going, I'm going to find some really good jokes about this, but it's true, innit? That, yeah, I'm cutting you off. Yeah, I'm cutting you off, prick. Suck on that. It's true, isn't it, that ice cream isn't really, like, for kids anymore. You can still go down to, like, a shop that's ice cream. But even the shops, there's a shop here in Ferndale that's just like a kind of a classy upscale ice cream joint. They might as well be serving minestrone, you know, beef soups or something like that with the flavors that they come up with. You're gonna bring your kid in and say, oh, would you like the pumpkin pecan butterscotch, you know. It's like, these aren't flavors for kids. Kids want pink bubble gum, right, Pony? They want something that appeals to their lack of sensibilities. Whatever happened? We have a Cold Stone Creamery at the truck stop my girlfriend works at. If I want anything other than vanilla, I go there, says Major Lord Exelberth. It's weird, isn't it? Isn't it? Ass pizza sounds tasty. What? Oh, I just made a delicious ass pizza. Ooh. I've never had ass pizza. That's a lie. That's a lie. Alright. Go ahead and just put on the cruise control at 59. Apparently they want the trucks going slow through this section, so we'll just barely stay under the legal limit here. And we'll talk about... What do you guys want to talk about first? The destruction of society by the ignorance that people have toward the energetic power of their words, or Sudoku? Because I have been working on programming my own Sudoku generator in PHP for web deployment. What do those words mean? It means I'm coding up a Sudoku generator that'll run on a website in the background, server side, for fun. Because that's my kind of fun. Whatever happened to Blue Moon and childlike fun? Now I have to program a goddamn Sudoku generator in PHP to get my rocks off. Something's wrong with me, man. Paul, have you got any more of those Zen Bell question thingies? This is secretary funny. Yeah, when you see the flower, where is the Buddha? You work on that one and I'll explain to you my Sudoku generator deal. I actually worked at the Cold Stone for a spell. Kids like cotton candy flavor ice cream, says Mage Lord Exelberth. Right! See, now that's a flavor that sounds like it's for kids, right? So they're probably picking up, ordering it because it's just, the name appeals to kids. But I'm surprised at how, really, when you, walk down the, Ben & Jerry's doesn't look like it's designed for kids anymore. I mean, yeah, there's stuff in there like cookies and cream, so they got a couple of flavors, but it looks like the bulk of the ice cream market is for really sad, depressed adults and parents, Doesn't it? Just to soothe the inner knowledge that you've wasted your life and you're never getting those years back and nothing that you have done is like all of your dreams you just threw to the wayside because other people just told you that they were stupid and it'd never work out and the world was against you and you believed it and so you didn't actually move on them and you always wanted to be a veterinarian and what are you doing now? Tax attorney. The fuck happened to you, man? And now that's why you need ice cream. That's why Ben & Jerry are marketing to you, because your kids don't really need it. They'll be happy one way or the other, but you? Jesus Christ, get this man some butterscotch and fudge. Stat! We need an IV drip over here. With gummy bears, with gummy bears, apparently. Damn it, with all this ice cream talk, I'm craving some Cold Stone. If it wasn't for the heavy snowfall, I'd be out of here right now, says Major Lord Exelberth. And the goddamn weather! The goddamn weather! It's actually sunny today. When I woke up at 3:50, when I managed to, roll myself out of bed at 3:48 p.m. today. It's got, the sun's out, it's beaming down, but yesterday, what was it? Well, it was snowing, and the day before that it was freezing rain. Mind you, this is April, 17th, not 18th today. So yeah, mid-April, last half of April, snowing, freezing rain, and then today it's, sunshiny out, temperatures are moderate, not, warm or anything, but moderate, spring-like, like a cold day in spring, like it's supposed to be. I hear in the weather, more snow planned. They're planning more snow. They are manufacturing snow as we speak to be carried into the upper atmosphere by planes and then dropped on us just to fuck with us. Just to, why? Reinforce the ice cream market, right? Ben & Jerry got to sell more to depressed people, right? It's good for the ice cream market. A nice long winter, it just doesn't end. It's dark outside. Everybody's like, you got cabin fever, you're stuck in, you can't get out, Kids want to go out and play, but the weather, and it's like, you can't go out now. And then they're just in the house all day, shouting, screaming, kicking things over. God damn it, I need some ice cream. It's a Ben & Jerry lizard person conspiracy. It's the fucking ice cream Illuminati. They did it. So, Sudoku, I was saying. Sudoku. First day of summer isn't until June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, says Mage Lord Exelberth. That's really June 21st? And think of how close we are to the first day of summer. And spring hasn't even set in yet. It's weird. It never used to be like this. When I was a kid, man, they had Blue Moon and Superman, and, you know, you'd go trick-or-treating, and, fuck it, and they'd tell you to go to the way station. You go trick-or-treating in October, and you just wear your costume, because it was fall, right? It was still fall in October. So you just wear your costume, because, yeah, there was a chill in the air, but it was fine with the costume on, that was it. Now, I see the little kids, what are they doing? They're out there in their costumes with their giant parkas over the top of them, because in October, it's winter. It's the dead of winter now. As far as temperatures are concerned, anyway. Tier 5, Unicorn Climate Change, says Mage Lord Exilbirth. Damn straight. And I don't know what the hell you're doing or how you're getting it so wrong, but I thought we had agreed on global warming. What happened, huh? On your end of things? Because it's getting colder where I live, and I can't take it anymore. Last night, okay, it's a chronic fatigue day today. Well, it started last night. Last night, I was sitting in the house with, like, a sweatshirt on, and this robe over top the sweatshirt, and a blanket bundled over my body because my body temperature no longer regulates itself. Sometimes when I have a, you know, episode of the CFS, I get frigidly cold. And then I have had instances where I'm just sweating up a storm, but most of the time it's just me getting frigidly cold. Even though it's not cold in here, just my body decides to stop producing heat. It's probably all that ice cream I keep eating. So I could do with if spring would actually spring at some point, you know, here in late April, where your showers are supposed to bring May flowers. There's not going to be any flowers. There's just not going to be. There's just no flowers for the rest of eternity. Why? Because there weren't any April showers. We're going to need a new children's song, you know? A new little lyrical... May... snowfall brings June, fucking Ben and Jerry's. Everything sucks in the world. So let me tell you about my Sudoku generator. Where's my ice cream? If you can't get ice cream, get beer. That's what I say. Might be colder for us, but the global temperature is hotter. Hotter temperatures disrupting the air currents, says Mage Lord Exilbirth. Well, it's damn cold around here. It never used to be this way, you know? March, middle of March, you'd see like the last there'd be like a rain that cleared out all the snow, and maybe it would like, you'd see a couple of snowflakes that didn't accumulate for anything from then on out, but you know, you'd see a couple of little patterns of that. I got accumulating snowfall on April 16th. I wake up and I walk outside and the tree branches are glistening with the ice that they have been covered in from a freezing rainfall in the middle of April. It never used to be like this. This damn planetary wobble, in addition to all you people with your hairspray and your CFCs and whatnot. Never used to be like this. Winter would end in March at the latest. Winter is still going in April strong, and we've got more snowfalls planned for the next week ahead, is what I hear. But nothing's happening with the climate. No, it's fine. You're gonna have, you know, billions of human beings farting, belching, and, oh yeah, burning all kinds of fossil fuels in order to create energy, in order to run their own independent vehicles next to each other all going in the same direction, but we all gotta have our own. You can have all that going on, Mother Nature not affected by it. Jesus God. Like, how do you possibly argue for the absolute of climate change? How do you, like, you have to live in a fantasy world, don't you? You have to believe in fairy magic pixie unicorn dust to think that you can dump toxins into the atmosphere. Don't worry about it. It's not going to have an impact. These people must believe that if an asteroid hit the planet, it wouldn't be significant. It would just be, you know, it would land at high speed. There'd be no atmospheric friction or, you know, There'd be no heat generated from it. It wouldn't kick up any dust. It would just land, and we'd all go, oh, look! We can build some, like, amusement park. Where you can have some new hills to ski on in the winter. Look, a giant asteroid just hit the Earth. The fuck do you live in a world where... No. We can dump billions of fucking pounds of carbon monoxide into the atmosphere. It's not going to affect anything. Like, really? Really? Have you ever played tennis before, sir? You realize that the mechanics of the universe that allow the tennis ball to bounce are the same mechanics that tell us, quite specifically, that if you burn a bunch of shit, it has an impact on everything. Tier 5, I've never thought about that point. If climate change is a hoax, what does the stuff that comes out the back of your SUV do then? Well, it makes the flowers grow. It's what Ben & Jerry bottled to make ice cream. Obviously. Pixie dust bullshit fantasy living in another world. And you know, I just gotta believe that they're like, the way that they can even sell this to any idiots across the globe is that those idiots have to, you know, be so convinced that, that this whole world is just, you know, it's God whipped it up out of magic fairy pixie dust. So of course it doesn't, everything that we do here, nothing impacts it. You realize we've like, just by peeing in a river, just by enough people peeing in a river, we've seen the river change its banks and move in other directions. But no. Billions of people on the surface of the planet burning shit for warmth and heat and energy and go juice in their cars. No, that doesn't have an impact or an effect. You know, there's a reason that you shit in a hole if you don't have a sewer, right? Because if you just shit everywhere, you'll step in it. Huh? It doesn't magically disappear. It remains, and it smells and it stinks as it decays, right? So if you can smell the shit, your own shit, in your backyard, because you didn't dig a hole first, then you must be able to recognize that every vehicle on the road is taking its shit constantly. And that it, similarly, does not just disappear. Just because it's in a gas form and not a solid, doesn't mean the laws of physics cease to apply to it. You fucking idiot. I'm in a mood today, aren't I? Let's talk about Sudoku Theorem and the power of words. You fucking idiot. This is a great Sudoku talk, summation or next word, isn't it? I have been quite enjoying the process of coding my own Sudoku puzzle generator in PHP. I have not tested a single lick of my code. I just keep writing it in Notepad++ and then going back and going, how can I do this better? Oh, that wouldn't work at all, would it? And I just keep, I haven't uploaded it to a server. I haven't installed a PHP server onto my PC. Nah, I'm just writing it. I'm just writing it, and I've been writing it for, I probably got 4 days, where I've taken several hours out of the day and sat down and just sort of thought about it, thunk about it, worked about it. It's very interesting. You know, the reason why this is fun to me, playing with the Sudoku generator thing, is that I am intrigued by the Sudoku puzzle. Because it is such a deep thing conceptually. There's like so many digits going into it and so many mathematic rules that are operating on it at once. I am intrigued by how anyone ever came up with it. My father recently said, well, isn't a Rubik's Cube kind of similar to a Sudoku puzzle? And I was like, you know, I mean, it's lacking 3 sides. There's 9 3x3 grids to a Sudoku puzzle and only 6 3x3 grids to a Rubik's Cube. But maybe that was part of the inspiration, was the idea of can we move that up a little bit? Can we have 9 instead of 6? I don't know. But it just intrigues me how anyone ever came up with it. Because here I am sitting trying to reverse engineer the concept from scratch. I'm not like looking up how other people have done it or other people's code or, you know, I don't want to, like the fun of it for me is the reverse engineering. So I'm sitting here just figuring it out from scratch and having a hell of a time wrapping my head around everything that's going on here. Starting with, the first most important thing that I had to realize, I coded an entire like first quarter of a puzzle generator, which isn't that many lines really. It's going to be surprisingly short for what it does. Pretty sure Sudokus are much older than Rubik's Cubes, is the secret to every pony. I'm blown away by it. How anyone could have ever come up with it. Like, I presume it had to be like a mathematician who, you know, was just deep into algorithms and saw, oh, well, if this is this and this interrelates with that, then wouldn't that mean? And then started working on something, and 3 years later they came up with this game based on those rules or something. Actually, I was wrong, says it was a secret to every pony. It seems Sudokus are 5 years younger, according to Google. It's so... There's so much going on there. So, to start out, describing a Sudoku puzzle, imagine just a Sudoku grid. We haven't taken any of the numbers away. We're not making it into a puzzle yet. We're just trying to generate a Sudoku grid. The rules of Sudoku say that there can only be one of each digit, 1 through 9, in a row, in a column, and in a 3x3 grid. And the larger puzzle is made out of a 3x3 grid of 3x3 grids. It's made out of 9 3x3 grids. So there are all these limiting factors going on, but you start with that 9-digit number premise. Because whether you put the 9-digit number across the row, or the column, or fill in one of the squares, what you're thinking about is just a 9-digit number, a non-repeating 9-digit number. And it doesn't have to be numbers, by the way. Sudoku is not a game, really, of numbers. The numbers take the place of objects in the puzzle, but if you have 9 different colors, letters, doesn't matter. But for the sake of this, we're looking at numbers, we're thinking in terms of the numbers. You need a non-repeating 9-digit number. So, first question would be, and was for me, how many 9-digit non-repeating numbers are there? And it took me a minute to reverse engineer that math to come up with that, because I don't know if I ever really took a mathematics course about, like, probabilities and that sort of a thing. I was in a Christian school for 3 years of my education. It was a very good school, and I'm very thankful for it, but it did leave a few things out, mainly history, but I may have missed some math as well in there. So it took me a minute to figure out, like, without just looking it up, look up, or just figure out how you would determine the number of probabilities, or the number of potential combinations of a 9-digit number that couldn't repeat. And the formula that I came up with is very simple once you get there, but it's 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2, and then you don't really have to do the times 1 because it's times 1. But the idea being that the first digit that you have has 9 possibilities. It can be 1 out of 9. And then as soon as you place one, there are only 8 possibilities for the next, and you place another, and there are 7 possibilities for the next, and you place another, and there are 6 possibilities for the next. So it's just multiplying them together, I believe. It's 1 over 9 factorial, says every pony. I may be forgetting what I've worked out here. I actually, you know how I worked it out? Because I was reverse engineering it. I was doing it as though no one's ever done it before. I went to a smaller number and said, okay, how do I determine how many possibilities there are in a 4-digit non-repeating number? So 1 through 4. And I drew a hierarchy where you put one number at the top and then you put another out like that. And actually, I believe it was an inverted hierarchy or something like that, where because this one was this, then I can't remember exactly. I've got it all written down in here. But I worked it out that way, and then eventually went, okay, so there's that many 4-digit numbers, and then I just extended the premise that I'd come up to the others, and then I double-checked it when I was done, and sure enough, that's basically how you do it, I think, unless I've done it wrong. 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that shows you all of the possibilities that you had in that, which, if you do that multiplication, I believe, adds up to 360,000. It multiplies to 360,000 and some, I think. I've got it written down here a number of times. Wow, this is a very straight road, and I'm straight on it. I haven't touched the wheel in a minute. Where's my numbers here? 362,880 possibilities for a 9-digit number. 362,880 different ways that you can move the digits around within a 9-digit non-repeating number and come up with another number. So you start with that. Now, from the perspective of, I want to build a puzzle generator, and this is going to be on the web eventually, what I would plan to do is, on the back end, giving in to my cravings for a little Ronin pawn. Am I right, says Zorglob? Hi, Zorglob. You just walked into Sudoku Theorem. The 1 seems somewhat redundant, says On to Edge. It is. You don't have to do the times 1 at the end. Of 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 362,880. So what I would do is on the back end, I would have a database that literally contains all 362,880 possibilities of a 9-digit number. I'd just generate them, pre-generate them, populate the database, and then whenever I needed to generate a random 9-digit number, I would just ask the database for a random entry from it, out of the 362,880. The next big thing that you... Oh, okay. I can bypass the way station, yay. The next big thing that you need to understand if you're going to develop... if you're going to even just make your own Sudoku puzzles on paper or try and, you know, create an algorithm like I'm doing to do it for you. The next big thing that you need to understand that it took me a while to get to, I had to I had to design a puzzle generator that wouldn't have worked at all, and then finally got to the point and went, wait, that's not going to work. And then I went back to the matrices and came up with something that makes sense. I looked back at the puzzle once more and said, a trucker doing maths behind the wheel? What a world, says a guy called Putt. What I realized was that in any Sudoku puzzle, there are always going to be 3 grids that are completely unrelated to one another. Okay, the puzzle made of 3 9x9 grids, or rather 9 3x3 grids. 9 3x3 grids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, each of them containing 9 cells where the digits can be populated. At the beginning, there's always going to be 3 cells that can be populated that are completely unrelated to one another. They don't touch one another and they don't influence one another. Because that's the game of Sudoku, is if the 1 is in this column and the 1 is in that row, then the 1 can't be here and it can't be there. Well, when you're generating a Sudoku puzzle, there are 6 different configurations. I drew them up. 6 stay in your lane. 6 different configurations that you can populate the 3x3 grids with 3 of your 9-digit numbers, where you can just completely randomly select 9-digit numbers. They don't have to relate to one another whatsoever, because they are in a different row and column, each one of them. So they don't touch, and they don't influence one another. Huh? Huh? Even the driver is starting to yawn. Be right back. I need to stop for rest at this next town, and it's coming up pretty fast. I'm going to hit the gas here, and I'm going to cut somebody off, and I'm going to get off at this next... Yeah, it's a long truck. You're going to have to back off, buddy. He backed off. Okay. I'm going to get off. I'm going to have a nap so that we can continue. Yeah, I don't want to fall asleep while I'm telling you all about my Sudoku generator. 3 of those cells aren't going to influence each other at all, so you can just randomly select 3 9-digit, non-repeating numbers and throw them in there. No problems. No problems whatsoever. So that's a big thing right there. You've just populated 27 out of 81 of the digits in a Sudoku puzzle without having to do any reductions or comparisons or anything like that. So figuring that out was very important to how I'm going to design this generator. Generate 3 random 9-digit non-sequential numbers, shove them in those grids, and then the rest of the puzzle is based off of what those 3 spaces have been populated in. Now the next thing, the next realization you have to come upon here, is that when you are talking about... Where's a place to sleep? Out back here? Out back. When you are thinking about the next 3 cells, the next 3 grids, 3x3 grids that you're going to populate, there are 3 more grids. No matter how you select them, you can randomly select the first one, but the next 2 are going to have to be selected based on what the first one was. There will always be 3 grids that will only be influenced by 1 row and 1 column if you do it right. By which I mean it will be on the same row as just one of the puzzles that you've already populated, and on the column of just one of the puzzles that you've populated. I don't know if I can actually, I don't know if the words I'm saying are making any sense here. Say you started out and you chose the top right, the middle, and the bottom left as your 3 that you're going to populate with 9-digit numbers. Now you've got, say, between these 2, you can put one here or here, and it's only going to be influenced by this one on the column and this one on the row. And so long as you place the next puzzle in the right place, this one will also only be influenced by that. It won't be influenced by the one that you're populating over here. You see what I'm doing there? So I'm trying to limit how much, like, how much reduction there is in this process. I'm trying to, in other words, maintain the maximum number of possibilities. And by populating the first 3 randomly, maximum amount of possibilities. The next 3 that you populate, for each digit, okay, say the 1, if you want to put the 1 somewhere in the grid, the 1 is going to be limited to 4 possible spaces within the next grid that you put in. It has to be. It always will be. At least the first number that you put in. Because you've taken off 1 row and 1 column, no matter how you've done it. Do I need gas while I'm here? Yes, I do. No, I don't. We're pulling back out onto the highway, onto the highway. So swing a Louie, hang a Louie, and then across the highway, and then loop back onto it. Gotcha. Gotcha. I have run into a problem in my Sudoku generator right now, and it may be a resolvable problem. It may just be that this is how it has to be done. But the problem that I'm having presently is that when you start filling in the grids, after you've populated the first 3 true randoms, one of the ways you could call them, depending on the order in which you populate them, there are many ways where you can back yourself into a corner, even with just 1 row and 1 column having been limited. There are many ways that you can populate that grid where you get to, like, you know, if you start out with the 1 and you pick the space the 1 goes into, and then the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5, I believe you can get to just the 5's place and have screwed yourself over so you can't place a 6 in some configurations. So the problem that I'm running into is, you know, I'm trying to do this programmatically, I'm trying to write an algorithm to do this, and the best world scenario would be to not have to regenerate a puzzle because you went down the wrong ladder of numbers, because you placed them in such a way that it can't continue to be placed. So I'm trying to look at this and figure out, is there an algorithm, is there some algebra, is there something I can do here where I can make sure that at no point will this puzzle generator start to generate a grid, start to fill in a grid that actually can't be. Where it's going to get to, like, you know, the 7's place, going to put the 7 down, and it's going to realize, oh, but the 8 and the 9 can't go there because of where the 8 is ruled out on the row or the column here, and yet those are the only 2 spots left are on that row or column, which is a possibility when I start drawing it out. It's a very common possibility when you're designing a Sudoku puzzle. So I'm right now racking my brain and, you know, doing a lot of, like, on paper and in my head reductions, trying to figure out, like, what is there a rule set here? Is there an algebra? Is there a formula? Is there an equation that will make sure that at every point in this puzzle I can finish filling in the grid that I'm filling in, so that I don't have to reverse engineer it, or so that I don't have to basically put in a check that says, wait, if you can't continue, well, I guess start over and try it again. Don't want to do that if I can avoid it. Might not be able to avoid it. I'm not sure yet. The last thing... the last thing that you could know about a Sudoku puzzle is that if you follow this method of filling in your first 3 grids with purely random numbers, just pure 9, because they don't touch one another, so they don't influence one another, so they can be as random as you can possibly generate them. If you follow this method of putting in 3 random numbers there, and then you select any combination that will work. Oh, am I getting off or staying on? On? Okay. I made the right choice. If you follow this method, and then you populate the next 3 grids after the first 3 truly random ones with one of their possibilities, and you successfully do that, the last 3 grids in the puzzle will not have any possibilities whatsoever. The 1 will have to go in the spot that it goes, the 2 will have to go in the spot that it goes, the 3 will have to go in the spot that it goes. None of them will have any options left at all. So this is very interesting, because at the top of the puzzle, 3 of the numbers are completely, totally possible. 3 out of 9. Completely possible, you can do anything in them. And then by the end of the puzzle, the last 3 have 0 possibilities whatsoever. There's just the one place that it can be, and there's no other alternative. And in the middle of this process, there's only, at a maximum, 4 spaces in any grid that a single digit can go. There's so much going on in Sudoku. It's so interesting and curious from my perspective to see like all of these possibilities that aren't really possible. And I've seen online where people say, you know, based on the algorithm of Sudoku and based on how many potential grids there are, there are, I don't even know what the words would be. They're billions, you know, that kind of thing. Like numbers that are huge, and there's that many possibilities of Sudoku grid, or Sudoku puzzle. And that's not true. They're wrong. Anyone who says that. They're wrong. Because there are so many reductive possibilities that what you get down to is not billions of possible puzzles. It's a billion and some. It's some number of billions, yes, I'll give you that. And then, what you'll also find is that most of those billions possibilities are actually the same puzzle, it's just been rotated or mirrored or flipped. And so if you take out all the rotations and the mirrors and the flippings, you get down to, like, there's not that many Sudoku... I mean, there's a lot of Sudoku puzzles, it's not a problem. People aren't going to run out of Sudoku puzzles. But it is not, you know, you don't need the letter E 26 in your formula, you know, you don't have to do like the powers thing where you add decimals to it in order to express it, because it is at the most in the billions. At the most. I need to slow down. I am speeding like Smokey and the Band. You could brute force it with a recursive algorithm, but it might be very inefficient memory and runtime wise, says Lo-Fi Loop. Yes, that is... I'm sorry, Lo-Fi Loop. That is actually... My big thing about this, and where the fun has come in for me, like, in programming it, has been... I have been designing an algorithm that does not do if-then checks. So far, I have no if-then checks. I think, I've gotten to the point where I'm going to put one in because it makes more sense. It would be less, there's less overhead doing this if-then check than it would be to do a conditional for loop, because a conditional for loop is basically a comparison operation, aka an if-then check. But until now, I have gotten away with populating all of my puzzle without doing comparisons. And I love the idea of that. Basically creating a digital, you know, a map in which you just put all the numbers at the top and you just shake it, and they all shake into the places where they need to be to generate a Sudoku puzzle. Pawn is already using a database for 9 numbers. I don't think he cares about efficiency, says hello, says, it's a secret to every pony, by the way. Or, what? I was reading Lo-Fi Loop's hello, by the way, and Pony's thing at the same time. Oh, brain. It's a fatigue day, and I'm thinking about Sudoku. Hey, Pawn, I am terrible at Sudoku. I tried once. I was so bad, says Captain Syphilis 1. Just the first of the many Captain Syphili out there. Yeah, I wasn't very good at it either. I messed up the first puzzle I'd done to the point where I couldn't figure out how to unmess it up. But it's intriguing. I'm actually less interested in playing Sudoku at this point than I am in creating the puzzle. That's what intrigues me now, is the math and the theory behind Sudoku puzzle generation, because there's just so much going on in there and so many sort of contradicting theories, if you ask me. Captain Syphilis, trying once is probably the problem. Sudoku is something you have to sort of figure out, then it becomes easier, says On Edge. It's true. Cheer 10, time to get on the board, I guess, says Orglob. On the Sudoku board? Or are you just going out for ice cream? I don't understand. I just throw numbers at it randomly, completely randomly, then I solve them row by row. Hey, whatever works for you. You know, that's the thing, is like, I've developed a whole bunch of techniques. Yeah, screw you. I developed my own little techniques for how to do it, which are, you know, everybody figures out these techniques. You know, the same techniques that everybody else uses. But I wouldn't have wanted anybody to tell me how to do Sudoku at the beginning, because again, like, my fun is in reverse engineering stuff and just figuring it out and and having that aha moment instead of the looking it up on YouTube and then somebody's telling you, and then you do this, and then you can see by this that these two, obviously, if they're in the same row, then this one can't be. That's not an aha moment, that's a oh, I see moment. But when you figure that shit out for yourself, that's an aha moment. That's a, oh! And it means something to you, and it's fun, and it feels, yeah! I'm not a big fan of, like, looking to other people to solve problems, because it's like, what's the point? You know, where's the enjoyment in that? And actually, that was a problem with me in school and stuff, because I always wanted to, like, understand something, but I wanted to understand it from the ground up, and I wanted to figure it out for myself. And you can't do that. It's 2000s, you know? Well, when I was in school, it wasn't quite the 2000s yet. But, dating myself. But, you know, in this era, you can't just say, no, I want to figure it all out for myself. You'll spend an entire lifetime just catching up and add nothing to anything that anyone's ever done. But I just don't see the point in doing it the other way. Because there's, like, no enjoyment in it. You know? Having someone explain to you or show you, well, this is how it's done. Oh, I see. You know, where's the fun? Well, it's not all for fun, Pawn. Well, then you're living your life wrong. Be my opinion. Pawn, what you've described with the three squares that don't affect each other, there are at least 9 to the power of 3 different Sudoku puzzles. That's 4.78 times, no, stay on this road. 4 times 78 times 10 to the 16th, by the way, to seek to every pony. Okay. Okay, what does that calculate to? 10 to the 16th, 4.78. The problem in how many Sudoku puzzles you can get to comes in when you have these massive limitations. Which are that, for example, I'm still trying to figure out the limitations in the second wave. So the first 3 puzzles can be anything. Any 9-digit non-sequential number. But the next 3 that you put down, slow down, Pawn. Cop's gonna come by, he's gonna F you over. The next 3 that you put down, each digit can only possibly populate 4 possible spaces in that grid. But, like, right now I'm trying to figure out just mathematically what are the actual, like, is there an algorithm, is there a expression for what the possibilities are of those next 3? Because you put the first one down, sure, the first value is always going to have 4 possibilities because it's the first value. The next value you put in could have 4 or it could have 3. The next value you put in could have 4 or it could have 2. The next value you put in could have 4 or it could have 1. The next value you put in could have, and then once you get to this point, the 4 and the 1 point, once you go past that, the possibility that you've had 4 digits that all had 4 possibilities because they've been in the corners or they've been on the edges or something like that, which I've worked this out, I've done these puzzles, I've drawn these grids, it actually reduces the possibilities of later ones. Because now, like, even at your 5 spot, your 5 has, like, 3 possibilities, but if you put your 5 in the wrong place after putting 4 possibility numbers into the corners, you're not going to be able to get 6 in there. Or maybe you can get 6, but you can't get a 7 in there, and there just won't be any way to put the 7 in. And it's so interesting to me, because depending on how you put this puzzle together, the rules change on the fly. And all you can generate is sort of the maximum potential and the minimum potential, and I'm still trying to figure out what the max and minimum values are for puzzles. In terms of, like, individual digit placements, rather. Digit placements within a grid. I'm still trying to work that out in my head. Oh, the cheerleader board got set. Time to get on the board, says Zorglab. Alright. I guess I won't try to offer any advice on your puzzle generator then, lol, says Ondage. Mind blowing it away, says Lofi Loop. It's possible some of those first combinations automatically break the puzzle, though, too, says Ondage. I'm not sure that it is. It might be. It's possible. Like you're saying, it's possible some of those first combinations automatically break the puzzle, though, too. I haven't looked at that, Ondage. But yeah, I've considered that possibility. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think those 3 in their positions, it's always only ever going to be 1 row and 1 column has been eradicated from a neighboring, an adjacent grid by either two of them. So really, it doesn't really matter where the 9 goes, or the 1 goes, or the other thing. I think, it's just a supposition, but I think if you do it this way, there will always be a way to generate the rest of the puzzle. I don't think they're going to rule each other out. They're going to have significantly different numbers of possibilities, though, if you put certain numbers next to each other. You know, and I have done, you know, simple stuff like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in order to try and reduce the possibilities or maximize the possibilities. I've worked that out on paper. I still am of the opinion that there will always be a way to finish a puzzle if you start with the 3 random numbers. But it is entirely, you know, I could be proven wrong. I may prove myself wrong by the end of the day. I went back and watched Sunday's video, Pawn, and I was nearly yelling at my monitor because I saw the logs 30 minutes before you did. Said Corn Dog Must Die. Were we playing Transport Fever? And there were logs that I could have gotten? Nice robe, by the way, says Corn Dog Must Die. It's a chronic fatigue. I showed up an hour late to the live stream, kind of a day here. Couldn't be bothered. Now I'm sweating, you know, for dressing. There's a lot of days out of the year that I can't be bothered for dressing. This is one of them. Welcome to it. I'm so glad that you could join me on my show! I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by this, and I'd love to show you, in fact, I'd so much love to show you, and we're stuck on the road here for a very long time. I'm just going to pause the game. And go back over here and show you. Let's see if I can't find a place where, there we go, it's visible. So, if you look at the, use this finger, if you look at the black spaces there, the filled-in spaces, the filled-in spaces represent the first 3 grids that you can fill in with a random puzzle, and these are the 6 possibilities, the 6 shapes that you can make randomly out of the puzzle. They're mostly rotations, and, I mean, they're all rotations and mirrors, but these are the 6 possibilities that you can make with the first 3. And just little things like that are intriguing to me. And then the next 3 that you'd fill in are based off of those shapes. They're exactly the same shapes because you're trying to avoid row-column combinations. So you get these arrows or these slashes. It's really interesting. You know, to me, and me alone, obviously. Nobody else gives a damn. Get back in here and drive. But that was like, I had to design a puzzle to start with, and get to a certain point in my own puzzle where things started, you know, not working to the point where my brain went, oh, this isn't going to work at all. And then I had to go back to the matrices and figure out, there are 3 that can be 9s. There are 3 that can be anything. And it's so... you gotta have, like, a math head, I guess. I don't have a... I don't know, it intrigues me. It's the kind of thing that's like, wow, the first 3 boxes can be anything, and the last 3 boxes can't be anything but the one thing that they can be. And in the middle is this very dirty looking situation, where the first digit you put in has 4 possibilities, but the second one has 3 or 4, and then 2 or 4, and then 1 or 4, and then you can still have 3 possibilities in spaces from then on out, but the more possibilities you maintain per step, the less possibilities you have, to the point of you can take so many possibilities away that you can't finish filling the grid. And I was trying to come up for a minute with, is this a possibility restriction? Like, is there a certain number of total possibilities per grid? Like, if there's 15 total possibilities, and if you exceed the number 15 possibilities, then there won't be a 16th for you, and you won't be able to finish filling in a grid. And I think I disproved myself, but there's so much on the page now, I'm a little confused. Like, I disproved the idea of a maximum possibility deal, and then I started looking at it from a completely different angle, which was, what are the values that can be in each cell, as opposed to what are the number of possibilities per cell remaining. That's kind of like, is that 2 different things? It's 2 different things, even if I'm saying it wrong. But once I started to consider, like, the values per cell, I was able to reduce the concept of filling these grids to a... in the very first top corner, well, in the very first cell that you fill in, the absolute maximum possibilities for digits, for different digits, is 6. Can't have more than 6, because you will have at least ruled out 3 digits And those 3 digits, in order to enable you to have 6 possibilities, have to be in the same row and column on the adjacent grids. What the fuck's he talking about? 6! There are 6 seals I saw, and they opened as David, and he saw the future in the Book of Revelations. The 6 seals! They had balls on their noses. Bill Hicks. The maximum possibility is 6, and as soon as you put that 6 in, you don't have 6 possibilities anymore. You get a maximum of 5, obviously. But it's just like having 9 places to put something, and each place that you put something in, depending on its location and its location adjacent to the next thing, suddenly limits everything around it a lot. And there's such an interaction going on here. It's very complicated, it's very convoluted, and I just love it. You know, when I finally wrap my head around it and figure out what I'm going to do for trying to design an algorithm, preferably, that does not use conditional checks, no if-then statements, or very few, where it makes sense. When I finally figure it out, that's going to be an aha moment that I will be sharing with you on the live stream, no doubt. I've been super busy with coursework. Oh, hey, how you doing? But after all, it remains that developing and optimizing a working algorithm comes close to having sex in terms of satisfaction you get out of it. Maybe even more, says Lofi. You know, by the end of it, I mean, there's a lot of energy and effort that goes in. By the end, We're supposed to be moving to New Mexico next month. Really, Corn Dog Must Die? I know you're talking to Pony now. It's not happening now, so I am waiting to find out where I'm going instead. Been super stressful. Oh. Are you pushed around by work? Is that the idea? That they tell you where to go, and thou goest? Is that the deal? I was just about to ask about that whole cell thing, says Seek Driver Pony. Yeah, the whole goddamn thing is intriguing. Also, I'm at Ehrenberg. We made it to our first destination. And I only had to drive one, I think it was a station wagon off the road in order to make it happen. I need to ram something off the road, says Corn Dog Must Die. I'm already at quota. If I go over, they'll dock my pension. This is Carmageddon, isn't it? Says Corn Dog Must Die. I'm active duty Air Force pawn, so yeah. Pushed around sounds right. Is there any, I mean, this is gonna sound like a ridiculous question, and yet it also might be true. Are there any, like, union kind of rules about that? Like, outside of a wartime kind of thing? Is there anything that you can count on, you know, if they redeploy you to a new base and it's not a wartime, there's not an, you know, emergency or anything? Is there any, like, guarantee that you'll at least be there for 3 months, or can they really just ship you from place to place to place? I guess I would imagine that it would rely on just the economics of it, you know. It's too expensive to be moving people if you don't have to, so they wouldn't do that much. But I'm just curious if there's anything that they put on paper that's like, you have a guarantee that we won't screw you over. Constantly. And then again, if they just keep shipping you from place to place, hey, you know, never really have to put in a good day's work, do you? Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna get used to, like, your performance or anything. Still trying to get a feed on you, and then, oh, he's moved, they shipped him out again. Pretty much own you, I think, says on Dadge. Yeah, I'm aware of that. My mother was, in her early life, long before me, she was married to a serviceman, and, he made the error of, on some leave time, going out and getting a tan. Except for he laid out a little bit too long, fell asleep in the sun, got a really bad sunburn. And they nearly kicked him out of the services for it. They nearly kicked his ass right out of the services for it. Because he couldn't, like, work, he couldn't, you know, show up and that kind of stuff, and so, you know, they considered his body their property, and what he had done to their property was not acceptable. Having fallen asleep and gotten a sunburn, limiting his capabilities. It's very interesting how these things work. Have you thought about developing the solution from a simpler premise, like only 4 squares of 4 digits, says Lo-Fi Loop? No. No, I haven't. I was at my first place for 8 years, this place for 15 months. Most of the time, it is a few years, but then there is the term needs of the Air Force, so they can do whatever they want, says Gorndogmas. Sure. I guess you can rely on the fact that, budgetary, people look at the numbers eventually, and they're not just gonna, unless they have a real reason for it, probably going to try to avoid, sending human beings hither and thither, as much as they possibly can. This is our Sudoku stream, people. It's not even Sudoku, it's American Truck Simulator. It's supposed to be a Zen's Day, and I'm supposed to talk about how our words affect other people. And I actually have, is the thing. If you hadn't picked up on it, I've already talked about it. I just framed our words in the form of global warming. Earlier, when I was talking about that, and wow, you must be a real idiot who believes in some kind of magic unicorn utopia to think that the gas coming out of the back of your vehicle doesn't affect or impact anything. I was actually talking about your words. To think that the energy of your ideas being transmitted to other people doesn't really impact or do anything. You wouldn't stab a guy in the throat, you wouldn't kick somebody in the nuts, at least not for no reason, right? And yet, so often I see conversations start up in our Discord server, and, somebody coming forward saying, hey, check this out that I did, and then someone else immediately going, oh, you should do this instead. And it's like you just have no sensitivity. Like, you don't realize you just stabbed a person in the throat or kicked somebody in the nuts. And the ignorance of that, to not realize that your words and your ideas and just being, to someone who's just started something, and not, like, acknowledging that you can very easily derail them and just cause them to be disinterested, and then what they're doing never becomes anything. It never goes anywhere, They're starting out something brand new, they try and show you their first thing, and you go, oh, wow, you're not any good at that, you shouldn't do that anymore. Or at least that's the subtext of your words. You can actually influence someone and get them to never do that. It could happen. And then you are now responsible for the fact that this person and their art will never be available. If you wouldn't have stepped in and been the asshole in moment one, the first time that they tried something to say, ugh, or you should do it differently, you should do it this way. If you wouldn't have been that asshole, maybe 10 years from now, they're the top artists in the country, they're the greatest, they're creating things, they've made the world a better place, all that kind of stuff. But because you decide to walk in and shit all over something that's just in its infancy, instead of walking in and going, hey, finding something nice to say or not saying anything at all, because you chose to go out of your way to be honest to your personal truth, now the rest of the world never gets something beautiful. And the person never finds the life of making beautiful things for other people. Like, that's the power of your words. And if you believe in global warming, then you've got to believe in the power of your words. So maybe you could just take the same care with your words as you do with your knife and your knee in relation to people's throats and their balls, is what I would be getting on about that. But we can talk about it more if you'd like, when we come back from our live stream break. We're going to have one more run here in American Truck Simulator, and that's going to be it for me. It's a sick day. I've already gone through most of the Sudoku Theorem, but we're going to do one more run, and if you're interested and you want to hear more about kicking people in the nuts and reverse engineering 3-digit grids, then stay tuned. And just, I see you, like, freaking out in chat. Just calm the fuck down. You're not freaking. Are you freaking out in chat? It was a joke because of the song. Back in 7 minutes. Hello, I am the Ronan Pawn, and welcome to a sick day on the twitch.tv/Ronan Pawns. You can tell by what's on my head. If it's hair, then it's an alright day. If it's something not hair, well, then it's not an alright day, is it? Those are the general rules we go by here. Welcome back to the live stream. We talking about Hitler getting kicked out of art school again? Pawns, says Corn Dog Must Die, in reference to my, my diatribe about the power of words just before the end there. And yeah, kind of. You think about that. Think about the fact that, it might have been a completely different world had Hitler's art dreams not been shat all over. Might have stayed small and local than what he actually did. But you can't see that coming. It's just, let me tell you what it's just, shut up. It's just that I don't value honesty very much. I value accuracy, but I don't value the kind of self-centered honesty that so many people, and I know because I was one of them for the bulk of my life to date, so many people have, value in themselves. If nothing else, at least I'm honest with everyone. You're a dick, is what you... I've returned from venturing out into the frozen wastes of southern Minnesota with a container of lemon pie and cheesecake ice cream. See? Kids don't want cheesecake ice cream. Sounds like cheese. They want bubblegum cotton candy, sugar pop Trix ice cream, and all those do exist, I'm pretty sure. But it just seems it's more marketed to the adult. Fun fact, since then I never painted again, but that's simply coincidental. What? Lofi Lube. Who derailed you? I once showed some oil paintings I did to a friend of mine. She said, you paint like Hitler. I still struggle to understand what that's supposed to mean. I'm German, by the way. It means she's secretly a Nazi, and then I'm 100% certain she isn't. And then, fun fact, since then I never painted again, but that's simply coincidental. Lofi Lube. The response that people get, especially in a creative work when they're deciding what to do in their lives and, they're trying a new thing, and especially if you see somebody... That's why I don't value honesty. I don't value honesty. I value accuracy. But honesty, and especially self-centered honesty, no. That honesty that says, well, this is how I feel about it, so I'm just going to say, because you asked, and I'm going to be honest with you. If someone is beaming and happy and proud, and they bring something to you, and I'm going to give the example for the 9 millionth time, you're with a woman whom you're in a relationship with, you're in a store, she walks over with a dress, and she's smiling big and says, what do you think? Huh? She puts it on, she comes out, what do you think? You don't like it at all. My God, it makes you look fat and just ugly, and those colors are horrible with your skin. She's beaming. What do you think? Now, you have the choice to create a shitty situation for this human being and take them from to... And you can either be honest to your experience and your perspective and tell her, no, hon, I don't think. That's... And create that experience for her now to go from, I'm so happy I found something I really like, to, oh, thanks, asshole, And now she doesn't know how to feel about it either, and now she's in something that she really liked, and it doesn't matter, does it? In the long run, it's a piece of clothing, She's gonna wear it, she's not gonna wear it, she's gonna look ugly in it, she's not gonna look ugly in it, you think she looks ugly in it. Are you the fucking, grandmaster designer of the universe? You're the one who needs to be deciding, fashion for everyone else? You may think that she's going to look ugly and the person next to her, looks over and goes, holy shit, honey. You don't know. But you're being honest to your experience because that's really important, right? Your perspective, your one tiny, 1 degree perspective on reality is so fucking important that you're going to invade someone else's reality when they're happy just to make it a little shittier for them to share your 1 degree of perspective, huh? That's why I don't value honesty, okay? I value the person who can look at that situation and see that their opinion isn't that important, and clearly this person is happy, and support them in their happiness, and be able to experience happiness through them. Like, wow, you're really happy. That looks ugly on you. In my head. but now your happiness I get to share. I value the person who values that, and who sees that and doesn't go out of their way to share their personal truth when asked. Lying is, and telling the truth, because they're just two sides of the same coin, is something that you have to pick and choose your moments, don't you? It is important to be honest when it's important to be honest. And sometimes it's really, really not, and the worst thing you can do is to be honest. And when your honesty is coming from that selfish place of, well, this is how I think and this is what I feel, and it just completely disregards everything else that's going on or what the other person is experiencing now, that's not honesty, that's being a dick. Oh, good! I can go to Sholo! I've never been to Sholo before. You know, go all the way back to Reading. No, we get to go to Sholo! Sholo, you can't hear me. Pulling this stream wasn't a bad idea at all, says a guy called... Thank you for dismissing your honest reality. Set as a GPS destination, and let's get on the road. She might look like an ugly cow, but she's my ugly cow. Now fuck off, says Lo-Fi Loop. It really is. It comes back to your, like, identification with your own, this is how this can be a Zen stay, if I want to market it like this. It comes back to your personal identification with your personal experience as being vastly important and vastly true, and not recognizing that how you think and how you feel is not the end-all, be-all of reality. That your truth is not the truth. And so you have to, like, decide in those moments, is what I think my truth is important enough to share and change someone else's truth? Possibly, potentially, you know? And you can say, well, they need to be more confident in themselves and stuff like that. Yeah, it would be nice if we were all completely confident. But you know what else that's called? Sociopathy. Being completely disconnected from everyone else's perspective, just doesn't make it in, just doesn't, you know, I don't care what you say. I'm not really asking for your opinion. The other thing would be, you probably won't get people asking you your opinion if they don't give a shit about your opinion. So maybe, like, respond to them showing you that I care about your opinion, you know? Your opinion is important to me. Maybe respond to them with a little bit of consideration. There are also ways to share your truth that aren't as shitty as just being 1000%, I don't know. No, that's disgusting, hon. You need to take that off right now and somebody needs to burn it. There are other ways to share your personal truth if you really do think it's important than just being a dick about it. And I see a lot more people who really identify with the truth. That's the problem, is that it's not the truth. It's your truth, buddy. It's your truth, not my truth, not everybody else's truth. It's your truth, but you think it's the truth. Keep your truth in your pants until it's important. Until you think it's important, until the time is right. Please, for the love of God, do not follow any rules in your life about, oh, I'm always honest with everyone about everything. You know, the moment that I have the opportunity to tell them, I'm up in their face. That's... You believe in you a lot, don't you? You are a fiction. Your opinion is bullshit. It's just like your asshole. In that everyone has had your asshole. And it left us stinky. Gervasian Choose 10, your call is important to us, but all of our representatives are helping other customers at this time. When it comes to these subjects, the thing that comes to mind is be humble, says Dundee. Yes, be humble, be meek, recognize that every little thing that you do and say in life has an impact. Now, I have two ways of expressing this. One is to say that absolutely nothing that you do in this life, nothing whatsoever, is important. Not a single thing you can do is important. And I say that because it's true. Because nothing you do is important. not one thing is any more important than the next or less important than the next, and when you get right down to it, you're going to die and everybody's going to die and nothing's really going to matter in the long haul anyway. Nothing that you do or have ever done is important. And the reason that I like to identify it in the negative like that is because I, personally, my truth, is that I find that freeing to realize that nothing I do is truly important, and so no matter how badly I might... Woo, that was close. No matter how badly I might fuck something up, doesn't really matter. I find that freeing. Okay, I'll pull into the vehicle inspection area. I find that liberating to realize that all possibilities are open to me because nothing is important. The other way that you can say the exact same thing, meaning the exact same thing, is that every single thing that you do in this life, every breath you take, every move you make, every move you make is intensely important, is alpha omega level important. And that is the same exact statement, and it is equally true. Because every word that you say is a word that's out there, that bounces off of someone's head, that gets into someone's head. Every movement that you make displaces oxygen molecules and changes the entire planet's revolution. Every single thing that you do, the fact that you exist, you are a random generator in the universe. Random number generator. And you are changing how existence is going to play out for everyone and everything by everything that you do and everything you don't do. So every single thing that you do is intensely important. AKA, nothing you can ever do is important at all. Same sentence, same meaning, same truth. No fear, no hope. No hope, no fear. One of these seems like a good thing and the other seems like a bad, right? Just like nothing I do is important might sound bad to you and everything I do is important might sound good. To another person, everything I do is important sounds horrible. Like, how can I even get up in the morning and go out of the house? How can I make a single choice in my life if every single thing that I do is going to be intensely important and is shaping the universe as we know it? I can't get out of this. The same person told nothing you do is important is suddenly liberated and free. They can do absolutely anything in the world, and they'll go on to, you know, experiment and try and achieve and have a full life. No hope, no fear. Hope sounds like a good thing, doesn't it? What are you saying? I shouldn't be hopeful? I shouldn't have dreams? I shouldn't want things? Your dreams and your wanting things are the source of your fear. Fear sounds bad, doesn't it? Fearfulness of losing, of not achieving, of not making it, of not being compared well to the person standing next to you because you didn't do enough, because you didn't accomplish your hopes and your dreams. The flip side, fear is very important. Fear helps you decide what to do and what not to do. It tells you when you're walking into situations that you probably shouldn't. This isn't going to work out well in the long run. Fear is a very good thing. Hope is the source of all your stress. You hope tomorrow's going to go well, and so you stay up all night worrying about tomorrow, and you can't get to sleep. You hope that you're going to find a job, so you're constantly worrying about whether or not there's going to be a job for you tomorrow. You know, are you going to find a job? You hope to be able to pay your bills. See how hope is fear and fear is hope? No hope, no fear? Start to make sense? Truth is a very malleable thing. It's a very personal, subjective experience. And all I'm saying is before you whip your truth out onto the table and start measuring it, you should decide whether or not this is the situation for that. There is a time and a place to knee a guy in the balls and to stab a guy in the neck. There is a time and a place for that. Just like there's a time and a place for sharing your truth. Just like there's a time and a place for being meek and humble and telling a bold-faced lie because your truth would be injurious to the people in the world around you. It's all situational. You have no true truth. You just have your truth. So, you know, play with it. Don't don't worship it, okay? If you have that rule where I'm always honest with everybody in your head, what you have done is you have made yourself into God, and you are worshiping yourself. You are worshiping at the altar of you, as though your opinion and your ideas are just that important, just that real. They ain't, in case you were wondering. They're not. They're just your ideas and your opinions. Most of them are founded before you had sentience going on in your life. A lot of the way that you perceive the world is based on how your parents behaved around you while your brain was forming. So all of your, I'm my own man, I built myself from the ground up, you know, I'm an adult woman, I can make my own decisions. Yeah, sure you can. You can, but you've been programmed since the day you were conceived. And deprogramming yourself completely, never gonna happen. Even random has a seed, Pawn, says Dundee. Yeah, the seed. Right, you're the sperm and the ovum. What? I am God, says Zeke to every pony. How many people could tell you what Einstein did? They teach you in school about things he did, but, check your angles, but they never have mentioned him. Would you know who he was if they'd never mentioned him? They shield you from the other things he did that would probably not paint him in a good light, says Dramatian. Yeah, and in order to, you know, find the things that were very important to the field of physics and things, he obviously must have made a lot of wrong judgments. Because that's how you get there. Kind of makes me think of, you know, these days, in terms of storytelling, entertainment, movies, books, media, that kind of stuff, I like a good story about someone who struggles for what they achieve. I fell in love with Naruto and watched hundreds of episodes of Naruto into the Shippuden era. I watched a whole bunch of that, and the reason I fell in love with it, I think, is because I was born... Well, I wasn't born into it, but the era that I lived through... What are we doing? Okay, I'm getting off. I need to go around. I see it. The era I was born into was the era of Neo. You know what I mean? It was the Matrix era. And it was the Mighty Max era. My cartoons and my television, which led to the era of Neo and the Matrix, they all had this universal, this central theme to them about the One. You are the chosen one, Max. Don the hat of time and open the portal, for you have been chosen by destiny to lead the world to a better time, to fight the evil forces. What did you do, by the way, Max, in order to get to that? I don't know, I just showed up, there was this fucking talking owl, this big dude, Samson, they just showed up and they were like, it's your job! Did you accomplish, did you achieve, did you, like, struggle and earn it at all? No! They just showed up and said, oh, you're wearing the hat! You must be the one of... I was raised in a world that sold a fiction to children that you don't have to work for anything. You should just roll out of bed in the morning and be the chosen one. You should... Whatever it is that you're meant to do in life, don't worry, a talking owl is going to show up and tell you that you're it. You're going to, you know, whatever it is, like, the implication was that if you're not immediate... Thank you for the cheer. The implication was that if you're not immediately good at it, you shouldn't bother doing it. Because you should just be, you are the one, you are the chosen one. You walked in and you just, boom! Didn't have to do anything, didn't earn it, didn't study for it, didn't train for it, didn't make the effort, but boom, look at me, baby! I'm Mark McGuire over here, I'm hitting him over, and then you find out Mark McGuire was shooting dope into his veins in order to hit him over the... But the image that has always been presented, and still is very much to this day, is, you know, you want your leaders, your inspirational figures, to appear to have just manifested from the vapor. They just, oh my God, he is the chosen one! Einstein married Elsa Lowenthal in 1919 after having had a personal relationship with her since 1912. She was a first cousin maternally and a second cousin paternally. So he married his cousin. Lovely. Cheer 5. Wait, you talking about Mighty Max? I love that show, says Mazor Exelbirth. Indeed. I love the show, too. And it seriously, like, warped my perspective on reality. I mean, I don't know if it seriously did, but it did. It absolutely did. It had an impact on me, and I'm sure it had an impact on a lot of the kids who grew up around my time, and not just Mighty Max, but all of that media that was implying and suggesting, but over and over again, that, you know, you're supposed to just be good at things. You don't work for them, you don't earn, you don't struggle, you don't show up, you don't, you know, show up on day one and find out you are literally the worst of everyone else and have to work in order to get there. And that is why in my later years I fell in love with Naruto, not Naruto. It's my personal truth, is Naruto. That's why I fell in love with that, because Naruto is a show about a young man who was the worst of everyone at everything. And coming from this American storytelling perspective, I always expected in that series that there's going to be a corner is going to turn, they're going to move into a new section of this show where it's suddenly like, oh my god, Naruto is just the best at that. It never did. Every single thing that Naruto ever did in that series that he was ever good at, they showed you an entire season or 3's worth of him earning it. And he had to earn it because he was the worst at everything that he did. But he kept showing up because it's what he wanted. Because he wanted to be the Hokage, you know? His personal truth, his personal demand, his hope and dream that I'm saying is the source of... Ah, hi, how you doing? Is the source of your fear and your pain. I could say things about that, but talking about this. Every single thing that he did had to be earned. Nothing was handed to him. Nothing he was good at from the original, you know, from the gate. And then when you finally see the payoff in that series, where the ninjutsu that he couldn't do while everybody else was doing it 5, it was like the day one ninjutsu of making a clone of yourself. You know? Kage Bunshin no Jutsu! Slap the hands together and make a clone of yourself. He was the worst at it for, like, the entire first series. Every time he tried to make one, it would turn into this floppy-looking weird thing. You could tell it wasn't him. It would fall over. It would immediately explode or something. He was the worst at it. And then by the time you get to the point in the series where he is, like, saving the day and saving the entire village and all of the people using that technique, because he was so bad at it that he had to train so hard in order to get good at it, that he knows more about that technique than anyone else. He can do it better than everyone else. He can maintain more clones at a certain time. And the thing is, there is a little bit of the you are the chosen one in that series, because he does have, like, this evil demon living within him, and, you know, it's supposedly the energy of the demon that allows him to... But the later series, it kind of undermines that and says, no. The reason why Naruto can, you know, has all of this chi, all of this energy in his body is because he's been repressing that demon for all these years. It's not because he's the chosen one. He's the chosen one, you know, in terms of, you got screwed, kid. You got, you know, everything that could have gone wrong for you went wrong for you. And that's the story I like to hear told now. The guy who everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but he just kept going forward. That's inspiring to me. Kept doing what he wanted to do. And by the act of doing something that he was horrible at, and having to learn it inside, outside, upside, downside, and practice it way more than everyone else because it didn't come naturally to him, he became the best at it because he understands it more than everyone else, who was just naturally okay at it, didn't have to work for it. For me, it was Mighty Mouse, says Zorglob. Your cousin that you had sex with? What? You had sex with Mighty Mouse? He was the best at never giving up, says Major Lord Exelbirth. And for most of the series, Naruto is never really the hero. in that first, before Shippuden kicks in. I mean, maybe there was, but when I look at it, I see that Naruto is never really the hero in any other sense than that he inspired everyone else around him to do what was right. To get in there and fight the seemingly unwinnable battle and then win it. But Naruto was never like the guy who showed up with the finishing blow or because of his maneuver. His maneuvers always got people deeper into the shit. Everything he did always resulted in everyone around him being screwed a little bit more, but they would see him stand back up after being pummeled and say, bring it! And he's got no skill and there's no way that he's going to win this fight, and they'd see that and go, I have to be more like him. Because I've got the skill to potentially win this battle, and I'm afraid, and Naruto definitely doesn't have the skill, and he's still showing up because it's the right fucking thing to do. That's inspiring to me. Not, you know, I mean, I love the Matrix movies, but it very much played into the, you are the chosen one. What have you done to earn this? Well, I've just been sitting here programming, kind of looking for it online. I've been, you know, looking through the Reddit articles, searching for the Matrix. I wrote an algorithm to search for words. Well, now you are Jesus. You are digital Jesus, Neo. Because we said so. Because you're genetics. Like, yeah, there's an inspiring story for you, isn't it? You are digital Jesus, and here's a really hot lady who's immediately in love with you because of prophecy. Like, oh, God. I feel like I'm gonna get out there and go at the world. I'm gonna really work for what I earn. I hate that idea. You know, I feel like so many people's, what they want to do in life has been undermined by that storytelling convention, very American storytelling convention of, you know, you're just supposed to be really good at it. You're just supposed to be perfect from day one, and if you're not, well, might as well walk away from it. Like, there's no value in working for something because it's what you want, is what that implies. You popped out the right vagina, you're the chosen one, says Major Exo Birth. It's true, exactly that. It's exactly that. I hate that. I hate that. I mean, I loved it. I was enamored with it in my youth. You know, those stories were the inspiring stories to me. And then I grew up and I started looking at them and going, and I saw an alternative. I saw alternative stories that showed you characters who had to fight and struggle for everything that they possibly got. Which is why, you know, I think, why Dragon Ball Z and these various anime that, you know, Bleach and stuff like that, where they've got just episode after episode after episode, or manga after manga after manga, because they come from the comic books, where, like, you know, people would complain, there's nothing happening, you know? There's no story progression here. They're just showing this person training and training and training. Now I gotta go over here to train. Now I gotta go over here to train. Oh, I gotta go find the master who's gonna train me on the high-gravity planet with the monkey that I chased around. And a lot of people would say, Jesus, that's why did people keep watching that, you know? When it really is kind of like, wow, what a slog, what a just dragging ass, not moving the story forward. I'll tell you why people were watching that. It was the, you know, reverse. It was the answer to the Neo complex, to the Chosen One complex. And it touched on something that, you know, just because you can't do this now doesn't mean you'll never be able to do it. Work hard. Put the hours in. Train. Fight. Struggle. Earn it! Expect a, you know, magic talking owl to show up with a hat and tell you, you are the one, Max. You're supposed to have to earn it, and it means more that you've had to earn it. Doing this Sudoku puzzle generator thing, and what did I say? I don't want to look up how other people did it. I don't want to just look up the answer. I don't want to, you know, look into the math of Sudoku. I want to reverse engineer it. Why? Because it will mean something. If only to me. It'll mean something that I figured that out. Even if, you know, I get done with it and show it to everybody and they're like, duh. Yeah, that should have been obvious from the very beginning. Like, you'll be able to ruin my day if I do get it done and I show it to you and you honor your personal truth and say, well, of course, Pawn. Jesus, I could have figured this out in a couple of seconds. You'll be able to ruin my day if you do that. But you won't be able to take away my aha moment, where regardless of whether it's easy for all of you, it finally snapped with me. You know, I'll have had an experience that I wanted to have, that I'll remember. Work for it. Earn it. God's sake. The culture of the intended audience, says Dramatian. Yeah, that has a lot to do with the fact that there was so much anime coming out that, it's surprising that it landed in the West, really. You know, that it landed that way. But the mangas and stuff that were being written for, Japan and those markets, they're talking to a culture that is very like, East Asian cultures like that are very non-you. They're non-individual. They are societies, you know, in so many different ways. Things that are completely socially normal and acceptable and expectable on this side of the water is just really weird and out of place and what? Over there, and vice versa. Because our culture is so individualistic, and you need to achieve for you and get out and do you, and, you know, your family and your money and your this and your that. And from day one, their societies are built on, you are not important. You are only important in that you are a part of a larger thing that's going on here. So, in that sense, you are important. But you as an individual, as a unique little snowflake, that doesn't help us. That doesn't impact us. That doesn't mean anything in these East Asian cultures. And there are good sides to that and bad sides to that. There's a lot of bad sides to that, to be honest. But they also get something that we don't have over here. Stream has been live for 1 hour and 47 minutes. Wonder if the popularity of the Chosen One cliché was just coincidence of lack of creativity, or a deliberate attempt to convince people to accept their lots in life because they weren't the Chosen Ones. This Mage Lord Exilbirth. I don't know, but I feel like the Chosen One media from that era became the slacker generation of the 90s. Generation X, intentional slackers. I think those two things had something to do with one another. Because it really was part of youth culture when I was a kid, that it was cool to be a slacker. And I feel like being the slacker was kind of an avoidance of that. That we'd all been taught in our younger years that we're supposed to be the chosen one. And we're not. Do I need to get... No, you filled up on gas. You just need to sleep on. Alright. Why is this map sending me in a giant... Did I just go to the end of the Grand Canyon and turn around or something? Why would you have me do that? It's a hair loop. Hairpin loop. I think it was a pushback in the other direction of kids who felt, oh, I missed a place that I could have slept back there. Shit. Kids who felt, people growing up, young adults, who felt unaccomplished and out of place and like they didn't do nothing. Because they weren't the chosen one, and they'd been trained by their cartoons and their media. You're supposed to be the chosen one. So, if I can't be the chosen one, well then I'm going to revel in not being the chosen one. The slackers. Can I just pull over and sleep? Because look at this. Nice wide open space here off the side of the road. You can! I had no idea! Ooh, some wisdom. It is clear to me now that the Republic no longer functions. I pray you will bring sanity and compassion back to the Senate. That's one of my favored wisdoms. Do you know what that's from? Do you know what that quote is from? Because they're all quotes. Yeah, every single one of the wisdom things are quotes. Do you know what that one's from? Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds to guess, and if you're not the chosen one... I think it's the heavy influence of the Cinderella story on Western culture. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The prequel trilogy, says Mage Lord Exilbirth. Yes. Yes, it was. It is clear to me that the Republic no longer functions. I pray you will bring sanity and compassion back to the Senate, was Queen Amidala speaking as she was basically dropping the mic and leaving and saying, fuck you people, I'll handle this myself. Oh. Okay. Okay. So, I thought I'd just pulled off and gotten some sleep. I hadn't. I know I'm tired, I should find a parking spot. So that was just, I happened to pull off to the side of the road when I happened to be dozing. Oh, this is a new mechanic. We were driving while I was napping behind the wheel. But I can't just stop and doze? I can't get a bit of a nap? Okay, this is a turn. If I start going blackout, I'm gonna have to, like, lock the brakes up or something. Because there's no place for me to sleep, and there's no just pull over to the side of the road and sleep mechanic. It's from Star Trek, obviously, says a guy called Pi. Yes. It was Deanna said it to, the captain as she was dropping the mic and walking off of the deck of the USS Enterprise. Because she'd handle it herself. All the sexual advances from Worf in the alternate dimension. Okay, oh, we're gonna be across the side of the road. Oh no. Yep, no, I'm fine. There's nothing I can do about this. I like that you don't just get a ticket. I like that they've done this instead of, it used to be, you know, in Euro Truck Simulator, it was just, you'd get really tired and then someone would give you a ticket for being really tired. This is far more realistic. It's a lesson and a warning. Don't drive tired, kids. They were married in that episode, Paul. Yeah, eventually, when he got to that time loop. Sexual advances. But, you know, maybe she didn't want it at first, and then big Klingon dick, and... She was hot in that episode? So the guy called Pi, you know... My personal truth is that I don't think I ever found Deanna hot. I think I ever found her hot. And they tried real hard. They put her in that... She just wasn't my type. You know? Too... I don't know. She just was not my type. Didn't do it for me, you know? Beverly Crusher was more attractive to me than Deanna. I don't remember Deanna ever being attractive. Even they were trying to stick her in those, like... skin-tight 80s leotard things. Okay! Oh, I think I just pulled hard to the left. I didn't do that, though. The game did that. Okay? The game intentionally drove me off the road to prove a point. I have no place to sleep, game! Like, well, I'm just simulating the experience of being tired on the road. Two Klingon! Two Klingon! Pi. Wisdom. Well, I have yet to find the sense of self and inner peace that might imbue me with the strength required to restrain the lustful passions of my willful talent. I can at least envision the day whereupon I shall. That quote, I think, is from me. I think that's one of my quotes that I wrote. Because I'm the chosen one. And what I was referring to there, if it is my quote, when I wrote that quote, if I wrote that quote, the one I wrote, I was referring to there was my, my ability to be a dick by speaking my personal truth. It was basically my trollish sensibilities. Because I do have a talent for being a troll. And, well, I have yet to find the sense of self and inner peace that might imbue me with the strength required to restrain the lustful passions of my woeful talent. I can at least envision the day whereupon I shall. I was very into Charles Dickens at the time. Okay. I know I'm tired. Quit hitting me! Quit hitting me! The place I'm trying to drop it off is just up ahead a bit. It's just there and off to the right, and I'll be able to sleep when I get there, too. Just continue cross-country, Paul. It's... I wonder if I could, you know, weasel my way through the trees over there. If I just... off to the right. Don't worry, I'm nearly there. It's just one right turn, and then another dozing at the wheel into the... probably the back end of all of this backed up traffic here. And then we'll be there. I'm turning on my right signal. I should also put on... do I have emergency blinkers? No, that's your engine. E is for engine, not emergencies. Oh, and the engine is malfunctioning, yes. Surprisingly, after a couple of head-on collisions. Hey, I was asleep at the time. I didn't see them. They never happened. Okay. We can have a nap right now. Have a nap at the traffic light. Be a good time. Tasha Yar, maybe, but, well... yeah, Tasha Yar was damn sexy. Beverly wasn't necessarily my type, but I found her sexier than Deanna. Which is weird when, you know, Deanna was clearly, like, designed to be the sexy female character on the bridge. She just never carried it for me. I think it was personality. You know, they wrote her with a personality, and maybe she even played it a little bit with a personality that didn't really lend itself to being in any sense sultry, you know? And that's what really kind of was wanted, I think, was a little bit of sultry from her. Yeah, I know it's malfunctioning. We'll be fine. I'm almost there. They're going to be really pissed off that I messed up all this. What were we dragging? It wasn't ice cream. It's not ice cream. Oh, no, I need to turn right here. Sorry, whoever's behind me. Live here, eat free. Really? Sweets for rent? If you live here, you eat free. I need to move in. Reduce my expenses. Okay, get me real low down onto show low. So I can see where I'm going. My man Data got some of that too. What an episode. Did he? Did he? They were all meant to be sexy. Beverly is the 80s MILF archetype, isn't she? Yeah, I guess. There wasn't such a thing as a MILF back then. But, yeah. Where do you need it? Because I'm really tired. Yeah, let's try and do where do you need it while I slowly pass out from exhaustion. Surely some of these naps have, like, rejuvenated me at least a little bit. Nope. No, surely not. Surely not. Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. See, now I'll be able to park it. Park her right on up. No problem. Easy to do. Yeah, Tasha Yar, I was very sad when she left because she was definitely, you know, she was the sexiest of the women in the first season that I saw. It's kind of surprising that they, I don't know, maybe it's everybody else thought that they were sexy and I just didn't, you know? But it says something about the series if everyone kind of agrees that the women on there were, you know, the writers weren't writing them to be like sex pots, usually. And so I didn't end up thinking about those characters as sex objects, which is a good thing, you know, having female characters and they're not sexual objects. I mean, everybody ends up having sex, but it doesn't mean, damn it, doesn't mean that the character is written that way. Come on! Come on now! I'm nearly there. Almost. And... No. 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 Oh, okay. Look out behind the truck. I've fallen asleep at the wheel. We'll just pull it forward and then we'll push it back and we'll be done. Good character too. Fragile little girl in the body of a tough, stern adult, says the guy called by. It was, yeah, it was cool. It was cool to have a female security officer. Not just officer, but head of security. Wasn't she head of security? She wasn't, and that's a missed opportunity. She was head of security, wasn't she? That was cool, especially for the era and the time and whatnot. It was just such a socially progressive show. I mean, you've got shows that are still in production now from the same era that are having real problems with the fact, like, back in the day, I mean, The Simpsons and whatnot, back in the day, not very, you know, oh, there's a lot of racist kind of things going on in here, Apu and all that, and they're having to deal with these problems because they've been going for so long. You look back at The Next Generation, Star Trek, they were tolerable. They were definitely tolerable. It's hard to find any problem that you could have today based on what they were doing with their show back then and how they were treating women, and how they were treating the races and how they were treating in like the morals of their stories and stuff like that. It was all pretty damn on point. Morally, like, The Simpsons is horribly dated anyway. The whole look and premise of that show is really dated, says the guy called by. Yeah. But you can look back at those old TNG episodes and, you know, it's kind of a similar era, similar time when it all got started, wasn't it? And the difference between the show is, wow, look at all the stuff that used to pass for okay that people look at these days and go, wow, that is just racist and insulting. I don't know if it's a good thing or not that we've gotten so sensitive about these issues. It's, you know, Apu is a funny character, goddammit. I'm sorry. It's still relevant, but it's been on since '89, and parts of it really haven't moved on. True enough, that was tolerable. I made 4,000 off of it. It wasn't a good day for the driving, but it was a good day for the talking and the Sudoku. And a little bit of Zen, and whatever else we did. What else did we talk about? Something? The CFS, it was a good day it was a good day considering that I could barely drag myself out. I have $600,000, says a guy called by. Yes, I do. Still just, that's my truck. That's my girl. We've come to the end of the live stream, everyone. Is there something that I can share with you before we go? Something insane, stupid, and doesn't quite make any sense? Here you go. Right there. There you go. Cannot maintain 4 potentials in the corners. You just can't. It won't be done. And then later on I found out that you can if you do it a different way. And this is the latest page, I think, that I was working on. Last night I was making some observations, some new observations right here about how many possibilities you can have in a given cell. The next big thing for me is, I mean, a lot of the problems with my design in this, in fact, hang on, let's close down ATS. A lot of the problems in my design, they're not problems, they're just the difficulties, the challenges. And a lot of it has to do with just data management. How are you going to do this? How are you going to put it all together? And this is some of the code that I've been writing so far. I have heavily notated the code, and I have rewritten this code. There's 1, there's 2, and some of it I've just deleted and then started again. But this is like an old version of the code, and then down here is the latest version of the code. But data structures and data management. Like, how do I want to structure my my puzzle versus my master guide, and what makes the most sense when you're canceling things out, and for the concept that I have here that doesn't use conditional checks, doesn't use if-then arrays, but actually just like takes out possibilities as it goes. For example, right now I've got the Sudoku is the actual puzzle. It's arranged by grid row, grid column, and then row column. So you're identifying which grid it's in out of 1 of 9, or rather out of 0 through 1, 2. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. It does that on the grid before it establishes what's in the row and column for reasons that may be thrown away soon. The master guide here is identified currently in my head. I'm working off of it on the premise that it will be first the grid row and the column, so you identify which grid of the 9 we're working in here. Then you identify which digit we're talking about. And then you identify the row and column of the potential places where it can go. What? Right. That's why the data structures is a big part of this. Big part of what I'm doing. It looks really codey, says a guy called. Thank you. Thank you. I tried. End of stream already? Kind of shortish. Yes, it's the end of the stream already because I got here an hour late. And it's a bit of a fatigue day. It's gotten better since we started. Predetermine the solution and hide most of the answers, Sister Macy. Yeah, me too. Our next live stream will be this Friday. Hopefully it won't be such a really bad fatigue thing. Like, just, I was really excited that I had moved my sleep schedule around. Titties! Thank you for the titties. I was really excited that I woke up yesterday at 7 a.m. feeling fine and got out of bed, because if I could get my sleep schedule back around to the morning, it's just nicer, you know? You wake up, you feel like you got a lot of day ahead of you, you get in there and you do, and then, you know, you're tired by the time that other people are going to sleep. It's nice. And so I was up from 7 a.m., I managed to keep myself up until about midnight to make sure, because I wanted to pass out, but if I would have gone to sleep any earlier, it just would have been a nap, and I know that. Well, I stayed up until midnight, and then it turned into just a nap, and then 3 hours awake, and then asleep for another 8 or 9 or something. So it was like 12 hours of sleep, and then I wake up, and I could have stayed in bed for another 2-3 hours. I could have done 14 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period there. But yeah, I was so happy that I was going to get back onto a morning waking sleep schedule, and then you just can't. You just can't. You know, and that's the nature of the disease. You want to try and shape your life in one way or do something, or, you know, you got places to be, things to do. I put on a show. I'm only doing 3 a week. Surely I can show up for all of them on time. Nope. Nope. That's just the nature of the disease. Get on board or, you know, don't. I tried making a Sudoku solver back in August. I never got it to actually work, though, but I like how I'm seeing similarities between what I did and what you're doing, Paul. This is a secret, everybody. Cool. Cool. I really hope to have a functioning puzzle generator. Not that will do like the hiding of the digits, because I don't even understand that yet. Just that will generate an 81-digit string, basically, that will generate the whole puzzle. I hope to have that. I was thinking I could have been done with it like yesterday, but then I've run into these new issues of trying to do this. You know, if I used if-then checks and didn't care how many times I did a conditional and threw out a puzzle that didn't work, then I could probably get it done by tomorrow. But I'm trying for better code than that. I want to see if there's a possibility to make sure that just by the algorithmic loop of generating the puzzle, I will never come to the end of a path and go, oh shoot, I don't have space to put in the 9 now. It cancels itself out. It can't go in the only place left. So, a week. I think in a week, I'll have it. Week and a half. 2 weeks to the outside. 2 weeks to the outside, man. I am the Ronin Pawn. We will be back on Friday, 2 days from now, at 4 p.m. Eastern, to play a Vinci game. What game? Asked the guy Colpi. What game would we do? Because we've got, you know, the Transport Fever, which I'm definitely coming back to soon. I'll like it. But we've also got City Skylines, and I'm liking what we're doing there as well. And I've got, you know, a little collection of games that I'm supposed to take a look at some point. Tell you what, this Friday, Virtual Reality Elite Dangerous is not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. Pawn out! Thank you.